Hey everyone, thanks for joining. My name is Jed Lechner. I'm a Senior Specialist Solutions Architect at AWS. I've been here for about 3.5 years. I've been a software engineer for about 10, 12 years. I can't remember the exact time on that, but more recently I've been service aligned with Amazon QuickSuite, and I've been working with helping customers build generative AI solutions. So in today's call, I'm going to give you a sort of a 101 introduction to quick flows and sort of show you how I've sort of instilled some of the learnings we've had over the past several months since we went GA with this service on how to quickly build your own workflows and iterate on them and to sort of simplify the process and give you some tooling to get started. So just for the agendas, we're just going to go into what Amazon Quick Suite is. Then I'm going to go do a quick familiarization with the UI. And then we're going to obviously build our first flow together. And then, sort of show you how a lessons learned that I've learned over, years of software engineering of how you can invest in your own tools to make, your job a lot easier. And then we'll just do a quick recap. So, Quick Suite is a unified service that has a combination of agentic AI, business intelligence, and the ability to automate tasks, automate business processes, and to conduct in-depth research. So I'll just go ahead and just sort of go over these like really quickly because I'm going to show you in the user interface as well. So what you see here is sort of like the foundation of what sort of allows you to make decisions, which is your data. And those can be whether through your documents and knowledge bases or uploaded directly. They can be the ability to take actions such as being able to like update Excel sheets or update or like send emails. There are so many of like things available within Quick Suite that you can do, and then obviously everything is grounded within the underlying of the bedrock models, and obviously we have web search as well. Then as you go along the middle, everything is sort of grounded in governance and data security. So that's an AWS statement that we always try to make everything secure and up to date with all of the compliances. Then as we go from left to right, we have spaces. So the spaces are sort of like I call them like a filing cabinet essentially, but you can store more than files, but it allows you to concentrate your workloads and your automations into smaller sets of data. So that way, you can create them for yourself, your teams, your organization, and that way your AI agents that utilize these spaces can make better informed decisions and don't have to worry about a broad index of data to provide them answers. And then obviously you have your chat agents, and I'll talk more about those. And then you have quick research where you can perform in-depth research, create 15-page research papers based off of your own internal data, whether that's in databases or documents, and then also the web as well. Then you have, QuickSight. Obviously, QuickSuite evolved from QuickSight and other services within AWS, and it has a bunch of business intelligence capabilities. And then you have the two automation capabilities within QuickSuite, and a lot of people get these confused or mixed up. But at the end of the day, is I would say Flows is a little more business friendly for the not necessarily non-technical person, but it gives you a little more ability just to build automations with just prompts. And whereas Quick Automate allows you to automate end-to-end business processes, such as claims automation or invoice processing. There's a lot of capabilities that you can accomplish within Quick Automate. So let's go ahead and actually just jump into Quick Suite. All right, so what you're seeing here is obviously Quick Suite. This is the user interface. I'm not on the home page, sorry. So this is sort of what it looks like when you land on the page, and I'm going to get to flows, but I want to establish the grounding in what your automations or what flows sort of leverages. So flows is like an orchestration tool. So it takes your data, your actions, and sort of allows you to manipulate prompts to basically chain them together into a workflow. But you have to sort of understand all of the Quick Suite capabilities in order to get the most benefit out of quick flows. So what I'll do is actually I'll just start with integrations. So integrations allow you to set up both. For some reason it's not loading. There we go. So integrations allow you to set up both knowledge bases and actions. So knowledge bases allow you to connect to various sources such as S3, OneDrive, Google Drive, and SharePoint, and it pulls your documents that you select into what we call the quick index. And that is just to get a little technical, is it allows you to vectorize your documents and allows you to perform natural language searches over top of them. Then we have actions. So actions are utilized to basically call the APIs for these various services. So we have a plethora of actions that we have pre-built out of the box. Then we have the ability to sort of customize actions with model context protocol. But there are several different actions that you have pre-built for you. And these are continuing, or there's more and more being added every so often. So obviously, some of the more popular ones you have like SharePoint or Microsoft Teams or Outlook, whether you're a Microsoft 365 user. And these are all very, very easy to set up and integrate within Quick Suite itself. So that covers the unstructured data and your live data, right? So the next thing we have is your structured data. So structured data, actually, if you scroll down, so if you can say like, it has hidden things in here, such as looking to add data for visualization and analysis. So from there, you can actually go into data sources. So data sources allow you to connect to various databases. This is typically like an admin level thing where you want to connect, for example, like an Oracle database or TimeStream or Databricks or all of these other sources that are listed on the screen. You can even upload, your individual files and create, your own in-memory data sets from those as well. So if you have like an Excel file, this is some place where you can get answers in a sort of a text to SQL manner. Whereas if you uploaded it directly in a space, it would be vectorization. So there's a little difference between the two. And with vectorization, is it doesn't necessarily understand that things are always a table. So if you are working on things like Excel and you want to have more consistent and reliable results, this is sort of where you would go. And then obviously from these databases, you can build visualizations. So for example, I'll just show this one. This is just like a simple visualization of a financial close demo that I created before. And it just has some, it's connected to a Postgres database and has some visualizations for those for what's in the actual database itself. And then you have topics. So topics are like your semantic layer over top of your structured database. And that gives you ability to ask natural language questions. So if you think about how a database is set up, is you typically have a column name, and then maybe somebody put a description in there. And whenever you do natural language queries, it has to convert to a programming language called SQL, and then that has to make the query on the database. So not everyone understands SQL, but whenever you're prompting an agent or an assistant, it actually will do that interpretation for you. But with topics is it allows you to create friendly names that your end users can utilize, such as accrual amount or accrual percentage. And you don't need to worry what the actual column is. And then you can actually utilize things that are more aligned to natural language. So now let's go into spaces. So spaces are what I said before is like it allows you to combine all of those various data sources, those actions, those dashboards, the topics, and allows you to put everything together. So you can see here that as it's loads, I have a dashboard selected, I have a knowledge base selected, I have some actions selected, I have some topics, and then I can even upload individual files to augment the responses from the data. And cool thing about that people don't necessarily always understand is like if you upload a file with images or videos, we handle all of the complicated processing to convert that into text for you, so that way the agents actually can understand what they're querying. So once you actually get to all of that foundational knowledge, you're left with the chat, right? So that's like the first thing you sort of want to do is to interact with your chat. And you can do this through chat agents. And obviously the first thing you have here is My Assistant. And then you have like your other chat agents that you've created throughout your entire Quick Suite instance that are shared with you or you created yourself. And obviously you can interact with the chat naturally. So the reason I had to go through all of that is because when you get to flows, you don't want to jump to flows with sort of understanding this foundation. Is when you get to flows, what it's really doing is it's actually calling the underlying APIs to interact with all of those various sources. Obviously, we're having some internet issues here. I'm actually going to refresh my page because it's getting kind of laggy. So when you get to flows, right, where you land here, some reason my internet's really slow right now. I hope my video is okay. So when you land here, what you see is your flow library, and your flow library is just the flows you've created and also the flows that were shared with you. And you obviously have some pre-built flows here that can sort of help you get started on understanding what you have. And then as you go over, you have your schedules, and then if you have the configuration enabled, you have an approval screen here for you. So I think we're a little past the 5 minutes, but let's go ahead and actually create a flow. So whenever you create a flow and you click that create button, it brings you to this page, and you can get to this page from several different ways. So you can obviously utilize this flow button right here. So when you're in a conversation, you've queried it, started a conversation with the chat agent, and it queried multiple times. What it can do is then filter out your intention on what you want for an automation. So it'll actually create a prompt for you similar to this. So let's go ahead and just select one of these. So find industry trends and news. So it'll derive this prompt for you, and it'll actually generate the flow for you. So what it'll do is it'll take your prompt. So you obviously have your intent. You have some things that you want for input. So keyword here is input. So it's accepting the customer name, the industry, and all of these details. And what it'll eventually do is interpret all of that into the flow itself. And what the flow is, once we get to it, is just a combination of, or a sequence of steps. And these steps each have their own sort of type. So as I click this button right here, so I clicked add step, and what add step does is it allows me to add a step to a flow, and you can select from various different steps. So the first thing you have in a lot of different flows is what you want for input. So it can be text, it can be files. You don't even need input. You can actually derive the input from, an API. Whether you're connecting to SharePoint and you're reading an Excel file, it might say, I have a few things in an Excel file that I actually want to process. Then you can loop over those and process each individual one. And then you obviously have actions. So I just sort of described a workflow that you can do with actions, which is connecting to an Excel file in SharePoint. Then you have your internal data, which is like dashboards, topics, and your quick suite data. And then you have along the left are the various different steps you can interact with. So you have a chat agent. So I showed you earlier that you can create your own chat agent, and that will allow you to actually process the flow or process your prompt. And then you have the ability to conduct research and get the response from it. And then you have web search, general knowledge, UI agent. So UI agent actually goes into the browser and performs actions. I was actually in the Seattle, shelter because I love dogs. I have my own dog, and I always try to nudge people to adopt their own. And I actually wanted to build a flow earlier that utilized the UI agent and grab this data for you, but I wasn't able to get it working in time, so I apologize for that. So as we go back, we have the ability to create images. And then the last thing is something that is a little more complex, but it's called a reasoning group. And a reasoning group allows you to take different branches in your flow. So whether you want something to happen, you would then utilize a reasoning group. It's like an if-else statement. And then you also have the ability to loop over things. And it's all controlled through natural language. So I'll actually show you an example of this in a little bit. But as we move down, you can see that there are various cards or various configurations for each step. And then you can have, for example, this one utilizes web search, and web search, all it is just takes a prompt. And you can see this thing called enter customer name. So whenever you write your prompt, so you can say hello world, and then you can reference the steps that were before this. So if you have input or even output from a various step in your flow, you can see this one has the references here. So this says it references the research from the output of this step. Then you have analyze industry trends, and then also another prompt as well. And you can see this one utilizes general knowledge. I like to push this creativity down to the lowest level because I want consistent output. And then you have the ability to select between two different types. So you have fast responses and versatility. Versatility is actually a way to apply reasoning. These are your models that have your reasoning models, and then if you have things that are such as like transforming text input from one way to another one that you want to happen quickly, that's where you should utilize the fast responses to make your flow a little more efficient. And then obviously, let me discard these changes. You have the flow that utilizes your own, the step that utilizes your own internal data. And from here, you can link your individual spaces and knowledge bases to get more refined answers. So that way it's not searching across the whole, breadth of data, and it'll give you more efficient things. So this was a really quick demo. But what I'm going to do is double down on what I said before as and invest in your own internal tools. So what I did was what I like to do is I like to build agents to essentially do work for me, or at least serialize or democratize the knowledge that I've learned over the past several months on building flows and helping customers, and basically create an agent to do that work for me. So what I'm actually going to do is utilize this agent that I built. So I created a chat agent as soon as it loads, called Flow Design Consultant. And this Flow Design Consultant will help me build a flow. So I asked this question, right? I want to build a flow that checks my emails for the last 24 hours. And then what this agent did, which is just that took all of my knowledge. What it did was it just asked me some clarifying details about what I wanted. So do I want current date awareness? Do I want email grouping? What is the summary level detail, et cetera, et cetera. And so all I had to do is just, push in a bunch of different things. And then it asked me, then it actually created a one-shot prompt for me. And you can see here as I open this, that this is much different than those prompts that are given to you out of the box. And you can see here, like these weird things like dollar count, dollar select. You don't need to be an expert in APIs to actually query them. So whenever you ask for the emails, there's actually parameters and filters and stuff that are utilized within those integrations. And this agent will actually look up what those parameters are and then put them into my prompt. And so whenever I gave this specific prompt to flows, it actually did a really good job at filtering or determining the various connectors that I needed. So obviously the first thing I wanted was to get my user ID, but it selected the wrong action connector. But then it utilized all this information, including the current date and time, and then the parameters that were actually required by the flow itself. And that's what's nice about utilizing things like chat agents to build your flows, because it maintains the history of what you're trying to build, and it allows you to iterate and keep generating those one-shot prompt, or at least give you a different prompt for the individual step itself. So as we keep going down, we have obviously more stuff, but what's different here is you might not know this, is these action connectors don't necessarily return the entire email content. So with list APIs, and it's a software engineering concept, is they typically return like an ID, maybe a name or a title in a smaller subsection of the data. It's like a Google search, right? So like whenever you Google search, it returns back the top results and then like a summary of the data and maybe a link to actually go to the actual page content. So that's the how list emails typically work. But when I asked for that detail, what it allowed me to do was build something that was more complex. And I found more and more about what the internal capabilities of the action connector are. And it really, led me to this second flow, which I didn't have to edit at all, and it gave me this giant prompt that I can put in the canvas, and it built this entire thing. It gave me some the maximum amount of emails I want to process, and then it gave me essentially the same thing, but the difference here is it actually looped over all of the details, and it allowed me to actually retrieve the entire content of the email, something that the first iteration did not do. But as I just continue to iterate, because the first version of a flow is usually not the final result, so you need to continuously iterate on things to refine them. Excuse me. And that's sort of what testing is for. And then obviously, once I grabbed all of the details of the emails, I just categorized them, I formatted them, and then I just sent myself a daily digest. So like this can be in Slack, this can be in Teams, this can be in your own email. So I'm just sending it to myself. And then once you're done with that, is you can obviously run it individually, or you can schedule this to run at an individual time. So when I created this flow, because I mentioned that I wanted it to run on a schedule, it created a schedule for me. And then as you look at the schedule, it added the description, and then it selected when I wanted to, so daily, every hour, and then it actually figured out my time zone because I supplied that to the agent itself, and it selected this for me. And then obviously, as you go through, you have the instructions that you would put in here. So I just have system instructions to integrate throughout my my flow. And then we'll just put, test and then 20 here. And then you have the ability to override what we call your action permissions. So whenever you schedule a flow, you have the ability to essentially send or perform the action without actually confirming it. So flows has this human in the loop concept where you actually have to approve the actions you do. But with this, it actually gives you the ability to override that. And then whenever you save it, it'll actually send the email to you.